Hello! Welcome to the Turret of Pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. And I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom Zip Gun, and I'm your host. Here we're going through CDs, and I told you a while back about all the thrift store stuff I bought, which was a lot. But now I'm going to talk about the expensive stuff. Now this is the stuff, and if you're a record collector, you know what the stuff I'm talking about. It's the stuff that you'll just pay whatever for it. Now I found a way around this in that I buy a lot of stuff. I also have a lot of old records. So periodically I'll go through my records, I'll go through my doubles and my CDs. I'll find stuff at the local cool record store, which is this store in where I live is Victoria, BC. And the store is called Ditch, and they're a real good record store. Because they will take stuff on trade if it's stuff they figure they can sell. That important caveat. They must be, if they look at it and go, this is great, but nobody wants this, then they won't buy it. So I decided to get rid of stuff that I was pretty sure they could sell, things like Pink Floyd on vinyl and stuff that I didn't need anymore. Old Pink Floyd vinyl, yeah. Anyway, long story short, I get a good credit out of it. I just take it in credit, I'll go shopping at my favorite record store. That's what I did. I do it about maybe 3 times a year. And this time I came out with, I'm going to show you what I came out with. This was about 200 bucks I'll buy you in the local hip record store if you really gotta have it. First of all, we have a band that nobody really knows about. Kingdom Come. No, not that Kingdom Come. This was Arthur Brown's Kingdom Come. And this was one of the most depraved fucking bands in the history. Look at these guys. I mean, come on, this is 1973. Everything about this record is extra weird. For starters, this was the maybe third incarnation of Kingdom Come. This was their third record for Polydor. Started out in about 1970. They did the unbelievably weird Galactic Zoo Dossier album, which I'm looking for on CD to be able to get for less than 30 bucks. Then they did just a record called Kingdom Come, which was kind of a normal record almost for 1971 British prog rock. But then their drummer quit, their keyboard player quit. They hired a guy named Vic Perenio, I believe his name was. Greek keyboard whiz, and they bought a Bentley Ace drum machine. And the word is that this is the first ever band to actually use a drum machine as their full-time drummer. And who am I to argue? Superficial Roadblocks is the name of one of the songs. Time Captives. How can this not be great? This is... Arthur Brown is great because he would sort of see what everybody else was doing, and then he would go completely over the top with it. And even his vocals, overdid everything. He was great. And he had a really good band. He had a guy named Andy Dolby with him. He was a terrific guitar player. And I got to look that guy up because I don't know what he did after this. And this is a regular, it's like 20 bucks, but it's the album on one CD and then a whole bunch of bonus tracks, which I will be honest and say, I tell you, I haven't listened to them yet. But I have the LP of this, and I love it to pieces, and I saw this there, it was like 20 bucks, and I went, you know what, that's it, I'm buying it. Also, and again, I have a rule, I won't normally buy stuff I have on vinyl, but when it comes with this many bonus tracks, and it's a record this good, I will indeed buy it. And Fred Frith, this is when he made some quote-unquote pop records. This originally came out on the Magnificent Ralph Records label, courtesy of the Residents. It's now out on the equally fabulous East Side Digital label, which has put out things like the Morels and whatnot. And I had a funny feeling, I think this was used, I had a feeling this wasn't going to last. So I bought it, and I'm glad. I also bought this. This was not cheap, but it's everything he did for Chess. I'm on a Buddy Guy kick. So much so that I bought 2 Buddy Guys, and then I found out that one of them is probably not very good. But this is everything he did for Chess, including a ton of bonus stuff, 2 CDs. Cost me 20 bucks. This was $9.95 used. Blues Singer. Now, it's produced and done at the same studio as the absolutely wonderful Sweet Wine, but word has it that this is more of a special guest record, and he concentrates on singing. Now, recently I came into possession of a Chris Potter ECM record that I just fell in love with, especially one song on it. And I've been kind of curious about the guy because he kind of, again, slipped under my radar. And, oops, I've done this incorrectly. There you go. And I found this, and this is a record apparently he made all by himself during COVID. And he plays a multitude of instruments. Like, he's a tenor player by my knowledge: clarinet, bass, clarinet, alto, flute, piano, keyboards, guitars, bass, guitar, drums, percussion, samples, you name it. I rolled through it without paying a lot of attention to it, and it sounded like pretty high-end fusion music. But I'm going to give it another chance because I like the way he writes. Then, this was a no-brainer. I had to buy this. Why is this happening? The new Black Midi. I'm very fond of this band. I have played this entirely all the way through once at a fairly decent volume, and I pronounce it amazing. It's an amazing record. It's busier than busy. There's a lot going on. Buddy raps away at high speed like he's drank way too many cappuccinos occasionally, but I never find it like pretentious, really. It's of its own sort of thing. And these descriptions to like Mahavishnu Orchestra and King Crimson are just complete rubbish. They're their own band. And their songs are very episodic, like a lot of this stuff is. But I'll tell you what, they sort of remind me of my friend Ford Peer, and that's meant as a compliment. So there. I finally found this. I have yet to dip my toe in it, but it's hard to find. And it was there, and I sort of went, I like this guy, and I do love his bass playing. I have heard that this is unexciting, but I don't give a shit. If I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy it. Now, there is a great label out of, I think it's New York, called, what is it called again? Fantastic Tapes of Africa? Awesome Tapes from Africa, pardon me. And they are putting out these awesome tapes from Africa, and they're putting them on CD for a reasonable price. And thank God they're leaving the graphics the way they were, and you get a real, you can almost, it's great. And these are, all of them, every man jack of them are really good. And this is the Walias band, which was the biggest band in Ethiopia all through the pre-Derg years, and they even were allowed to continue once the Derg was in because they didn't have any vocals. And so they were one of the very few bands that kind of didn't miss a beat when the Derg took over. This, I heard about 3 songs on this, and it's, if you like Ethiopian instrumental music, how can you not? Now we're getting into a little bit of a murky territory here because I haven't heard this and I await it. This is an Ethiopian sax player from the old days. He's got an Ethiopic CD out to his name. And this is with the X, the band from Holland. Sort of, what do they call it? Anarcho noise band, maybe. G.W. Suck and Andy on guitar. Now, this is weird. The X are really big Ethiopian music fans. And apparently, I can take a tiny bit of credit for this because years ago, I found the record by Mahmoud Ahmed that came out on Hannibal right when it came out, first Ethiopian record to hit the West. And I bought it, and I fell in love with it, and I made a cassette of it and sent it to my friend Andy Kerr. He of Hiss It All, and we were hissing all together, and he was in No Means No way back when. And he really liked it, and in turn he gave it to somebody in the X who heard it, and the next thing you know, they were all into Ethiopian music. And here they are doing this record with Gebechu Mikuria. And he's a really cool sax player. He's like an Ethiopian Coltrane. Haven't heard it yet. I'll get back to you on that. These I've heard a little tiny bit of. You can't go wrong with Abdullah Ibrahim. These were both, I think, $9 used. Oh, this one still has that hideous theft tag in it. This one's got a pretty great band on it. He's got Robin Eubanks on trombone, John Stubblefield, Buster Williams on bass, Howard Johnson again on baritone saxophone. 2 records, 2 CDs with Howard Johnson on them this weekend. And this one is African Magic. Every one of his records has the word African in it. This is a trio, and they do something like 26 songs, so they don't dwell on too many of these. And I've heard maybe 1 or 2 of them in the car. I put all this stuff in the car. so I can listen to it at length. But there you have it. So that was, it's not a lot of CDs, but a lot of good music. And like I say, I didn't have to actually pay money for it. But sometimes you got to pay the freight for good stuff, and you make up for it with the cheap stuff. So there you have it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll come up with some more stuff. The Empress and I will do some more singles, and I can pin her down. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell, and we'll talk to you later. Take care of each other and have fun. See ya.